Hello and welcome to another episode of the Lions Den podcast. As you guys see, we are fully upgraded, kind of the start of what is yet to come of the Liga MX season, and I think we lost Jose already. We'll get him back on. We're still waiting for other crew members to join, but welcome to the Monday Night Football. That can probably change, which we'll definitely get to talking about further down in the pod. And I think we recovered Jose. There you are. So you guys can see we're fully upgraded. You saw our little intro. You can see where you can find our podcast available, which is pretty cool. We also, if you guys see on the screen, have our QR code. So the audio that you heard was from Los de Arriba Official. So if you guys want to follow them, you can open up your camera, scan over the QR code, and they'll link automatically to their Twitter page. And you can see the Lions Den on. If you guys aren't following us yet, you can definitely QR code that automatic Twitter follow us on there. And we are also streaming on 2 platforms at the same time. So we're on Periscope and on YouTube. So hello to people watching us from both streams. On the screen, as you can see, we have our crew. We still are missing one person, but Javier, Louis, Jose, and Tom, how are you guys tonight?
Great. How are you, Kari?
We're good. We're live.
Muy bien, great. ¿Cómo están todos?
Awesome. Ready for another one.
Okay.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Getting excited every day. The season's a little bit closer.
Definitely.
Right.
We're just hoping, that this season will be our season. So let's just go ahead and just dig into it. Big news that came out that we're like, you know what, guys, we just got to start off the season early. Campbell se queda con León. Huge news that we were all kind of on the edge of our seats, kind of thinking, is he staying? Is he leaving? Like, come on, like he knows he wants to stay. Like, what's going on? We talked about it in a previous podcast, kind of the situation that he was in, and kind of, probably depending on him, trying to sort out some kind of deal. Campbell se queda en León for a 3-year contract, and you guys are paying in. What are your thoughts? Are you excited? Will he play? Is he a guaranteed starter at this point?
I mean, I think the way he was going in the previous tournament, the growth he had shown exponentially compared to, well, not exponentially, but the consistency he was showing compared to, I would say, his first 2 tournaments. I think if he continues to play like that, he'll have to be a starter. I don't know how they can keep him on the bench. Although, the bench in general this season is going to be more important, I think, than in previous seasons, just because fatigue and possible injuries, just such a long layoff and such unusual circumstances could be more of a factor than normal. So I feel like even our regular starting 11 might not be our regular starting 11 every time out. You know what I mean? Just because of the strange circumstances of the season. But if he plays like he did when the season was suspended, if he plays like he did in that game against Juarez, the second to the last game, I mean, he's going to be a starter in the next season. I'm fairly certain.
Anybody else?
Good. You want to go higher, or you want to go?
Javier seems kind of
Okay,
lost.
I'll go.
And he's muted. Go ahead, Jose.
So what I think is right now, if you are to trust me, I think he should, but it's gonna depend on how he arrives to the team, like not just physically, because like he's been training on his own, but we know that like training on your own and training with the team are 2 different things. So it's gonna depend on that, I think, and on the preseason results. So how he does and how everyone else does. But I think if he picks up where he left off, he should be in the starting lineup. And that's why Leon signed him to a 3-year contract, because they're committed to having Campbell here for a while, so it'll be a no-brainer to use him like right off the bat. But like I said, we need to see how he does when he comes back in training.
Me and you did a full Club Leon in-depth talk about, Leon, and we talked about Joel Campbell. In your opinion, is Joel Campbell worth it? Is he going to start in regards to what Louis was talking about, switching him in and out, or what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think obviously, good points from Louis and Jose is that this is a strange situation. We can't expect players to 100% fitness, having come off of not playing for so long, which this has never happened before, right? Like, these footballers have never not played for half a year before, and we see it in Europe. They're having 5 subs, a lot of rotation. So I think that is an important thing to bring up. But the other thing that interests me, and this guy is clearly good enough to start, right? He's I think a key player, one of the best in the league in his position. But the question is with the formation, right? So what's interesting is how Leon started to, and I saw this when I was at the Santos Leon game. I don't know if you remember seeing this yourself, Louis, because I know you were there. But how Meneses during the game started as usual on the left, and as the game went on, so slowly moved in field. And then against Juarez and Pumas, we saw him a bit more centrally with Yaido as a winger rather than a fullback, more of a 4-3-3 formation. And if it is the 4-3-3 formation, where does Joel Campbell play? Because we're obviously used to see him playing behind a striker in a 4-2-3-1.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think, we talked about this a little bit last time, I think, how Leon, Ambriz, I mean, they look for these guys who can just fit into this fluid offense and play pretty much anywhere. I think, I mean, Meneses has his sweet spot, but he can play anywhere. I think Campbell's a little bit like that too. But again, who knows where these guys are at physically and with their capabilities, and not just coming off having played so long. They're not just going to be out of shape, but they're going to have to work their way back into playing that fluid system that they're used to again. But I'm not really worried about where any of these guys play, because I know that they can be effective, and they all have their sweet spot, as you say. I mean, we're used to seeing Campbell thrive as a second striker, or Meneses on the left. But these guys, that's what I love about our offense. What makes me so excited about it, especially if Ruben Sambueza stays and is bought in. Just all this versatility we have with all these guys, that they can really be dangerous from almost anywhere. But it's a big question about fitness and getting back into the groove for sure.
Do you think he could play as a striker? Do you think he could play on his own as a striker?
Yes. When he first signed for Leon, we weren't sure exactly what position he would play, because he's kind of done a little bit of everything for the clubs he was with previously. He's never really been, if he's been deployed as a true number 9, he wasn't particularly effective in that role, I would say. But theoretically,
he did it at that World Cup with Costa Rica, didn't he?
Yeah, right. But with us,
that was a long time ago.
With us, he hasn't really been used in that way. For example, I'm thinking back to the final Nobody Wants to Remember, where we didn't have Macias available, and but we had Campbell, but he was not used. I mean, they preferred to use what's his name, Vinicio Angulo, who should never, in any situation, be playing in a Liga MX final. But they preferred to use him instead of using Campbell as a true number 9, which leads me to believe they don't have a ton of confidence in him there. I would kind of like to see him there,
Yeah. I think there's fear that as in, so a lot of decisions in football are just made because that's what is expected to happen. And if you make the decision that's expected to be made, then there's less pressure on you. And if you get it wrong, there's less outrage from the fans. Hey, at least I put a striker out. What could I do? We didn't have Matthias. I don't wonder if there's a little bit of fear of, can we play without a proper striker? And it comes back to like the Leo Ramos thing. I mean, he clearly isn't right for the team, but he was played because he was the number 9 and they had to have one.
And he may still be on match day, at least on match day 1. He might be the star. I would predict that he would be, even though. But I expect, given the circumstances, they'll try some things out. I hope they will. I'd like to see Campbell at least attempt to play as a true number 9. I think he could be effective in that role for us, given the way our offense functions. They just, as you say, like, it's easier to make a different decision, and it's riskier. Someone considers it riskier to play him in that role, so they haven't really done it.
Yeah, like if you lose, all the media are going to be saying, "What were you doing? Why are you playing this guy up front? He's not a striker."
Yeah. Welcome, Carlos, to the stream. Carlos, how are you tonight?
Hey guys, how's it going?
Good. So, Carlos, we had someone on the chat, Raul Guerrero, watching us. First, he said the real question is he really worth the bot? And then after, he said it himself. He said he's not about the goals, but his attitude of the game is the reason why they got him. So who's going to be the delantero, which we're kind of talking about. Now, we also still have our famous now Nico Sosa, Leo Ramos. I mean, what's the delantero situation looking like at this point?
And also the youngster Leon, I think you can forget about him. He was a revelation.
Yeah,
before
we can forget about him.
Happened.
And Chuy Godinez.
Oh.
I forget. I forget about Chuy.
Send him back.
I mean, I think he's clear of Corona, right? I think at this point.
He actually showed up to training today.
Good. So there you go. So I guess the question is, talking about our current squad, how are we going to play? Because obviously we heard kind of a rumor out there that we could expect another transfer. Where that position might be, it's just kind of in the air, as we know. I feel like Leo Ramos to me is kind of unsure at this point. Like, I want to count him, but then I kind of don't want to count him in. And obviously the Sambuesa, which, I mean, let's go ahead and talk about it. We mentioned it last, but it's not in Nacho Ambriz's plan. And, me and Tom talked about it in our Another Football podcast. Like, is it crazy for Ambriz not to take him in consideration?
Yes, it is.
It's a little
I think
crazy.
so.
It's a little
He'd be a fool. He'd be a fool not to, especially all the depth that we're going to need this season. I mean, even if he doesn't think of him as a starter, there are minutes there for him, I think.
Yeah.
What do you guys think?
Yeah. Leon
cannot.
Leon cannot have the luxury of leaving Sambuesa on the bench. That's just not like.
Yeah. Historically, like over the past couple of years, we haven't had the greatest bench, and we've always complained about it, but not having depth. And now that we have depth, I think we have to absolutely use Sambuesa. Like, I mean, even if he's coming off the bench, like that's a superstar sub, in my opinion.
Yeah, exactly. And if there was, hopefully, like nothing ever happens, right? But if someone was to happen to Montes, we would have someone that could probably take care of what he does for Leon. But I don't know. Sambuesa is one of those players. What he did at his age in Pachuca makes me think, like, why wouldn't you have him in your team? And also the other reason I think as simple as the fact that no other team wants him right now. They can't find where to. So it's kind of like, hey, if you can't find a play, just let him stay. I think with him staying in Campbell, who I think he could be he could start, but he's also one of those players that he's a very good option off the bench. He kind of revolutionizes the game. That's definitely when I saw when they played against the Bravos. I'm like, this is a perfect plan for Ambrí. So I think, Rubens, I really hope he does stay. Does anybody know when the deadline for that to be effective is?
I believe it's September 5th or 6th.
There's still a while.
When the transfer window closes.
There's still a while. So this rumor is going to keep on pretty much it's going to continue until we get a definitive answer from Ambris if he's gonna, because I think he did say he doesn't have him in his plan, but
yeah. Sambuesa, we know it's no secret, doesn't particularly want to retire here. He's probably only going to play one more season, and he doesn't really want to retire here. He doesn't feel that much identity with this club, for ceremonial reasons. He wants to return to America. But if he can put that aside and be a professional, that he's always been, realize the situation that he's in, realize the players that are around him, and realize the real chance he has to go out on a really, really high note if he stays, that's the best we can hope for, I think.
Yeah.
Out of him.
Yeah. And
now,
Hmm?
so me and Tom were talking about the Sambuesa situation. Tom, you were talking about how for Ambris it must be heart over mind, right? Is that still? I mean, is that going to go on until he's going to go with that until the end? He's going to decide, you know what, at this point, I'm just going to play the best 11 and not taking him into consideration. But like you say, he's a super sub. I mean, he's the type of player that can change the game. And you were talking about how excited it would be for him and Montes to play together.
Yeah, I mean, the heart versus mind thing is kind of more referring to me because the heart wants to see him and Montes on the pitch together.
Yeah.
The mind, I think, understands, and Ambris thinking sensibly, both from a sense of the morale in the squad in general, like what the dressing room's like. As you guys know, Ambris has been pretty strict so far with how he's run the club. And, could Sambuesa upset that sort of balance potentially? And then also on the pitch, can Sambuesa and Montes work together? Two guys that have to be the creative hub, everything goes through them. Can they work together or not? I don't know. But I want to see. I want to find out if it does work or not.
I think they can. I think they can work. We saw them play together in the semifinal between America and Leon, but like 2 seasons ago, right, when we had the historic run.
With the historic
it was.
I think that was when Necesito was injured and Sambuesa had to replace it. Yes, I remember.
And then they played great. I think. I mean, we had that goal with 27 passes, and
I always thought. I don't know if you guys know anything about this, but I always thought Sambuesa came to Leon because Ambris asked for him, because they have a history. They were together at America. That he was a guy, that he was a player that he wanted around. That Ambris wanted him around because they had been successful together at America, but now it's like he doesn't want him. It's confusing. I don't know.
I believe that was the case.
There's something going on in there
at that time, but something changed. Like after he arrived, he got injured. So I don't know.
Because when that run, once he was injured.
Yeah, he got injured.
Then you won all the games in a row, and maybe that is what kind of changed Ambris's mind.
Yeah,
but it is a situation because I don't understand why he's gone from Pachuca. He's still owned by the same people, and he was so good at Pachuca. Why don't they want him? That's what I don't know.
Yeah, that's what leads me to believe that something must have changed in the personal relationship. That between because I was always of the opinion he came to Leon. I was not happy when he came to Leon at first because I've always hated him as a person. Just his attitude on the pitch is he's an enforcer. He's the kind of guy who gets under the skin of the other team. So when he was playing against us, he was an expert. He was an expert at that. So then when I stopped hating him. I stopped hating him when he joined Leon, and I always assumed he came because Ambris wanted him. But I feel like their relationship must have deteriorated. That's what I feel like.
See, I don't want to get into rumors, but I always thought he left Leon because he had a problem, a personal problem with something going on here. So he just wanted to leave Leon. That's all he really wanted to do.
That's what was reported, but it was I always felt like that was kind of
something else.
A cop out.
These things in football can always be fixed.
Yeah.
Like well, maybe not always. There are some things you can't, but so many times they can be fixed. And like you say, Sambuesa is not the sort of guy you're going to put on a pitch and isn't going to give 100% to try and win.
Yeah.
You know,
Mhm.
he has the most incredible attitude, whether you like him or not. His attitude to try and win football matches is absolutely incredible.
Yeah, but he's a red card waiting to happen too.
It's like we already
Yeah,
have either Aquino to deal with, and then you add some Buesa in the mix.
I mean, I wouldn't
He's
put
like a
him and
double-edged
Aquino
sword.
in the midfield together. Yeah.
The thing about Sambuesa, I agree with Carlos. Like, I was really mad when we played America in the semifinals, and he got red carded, and I was like, see, this is not the kind of leadership that I think he lacked. Well, that's the kind of leadership that he lacks, right? Like in very important moments, he has that tendency to and I think in that sense, I he's one of those players that I always admired or at least respected in that sense, even if he played for America. But when he's with us, I feel like, okay, he could probably do the same, but for whatever reason, I don't know why he doesn't want to stay here. I think it's more from his perspective. But yeah, I think Sambuesa does want to return to America and retire. He's always talked about how that's his dream to retire in America. Maybe that's what's going on. He really just wants to go to America and retire, and that's fine. I think every player is, they can decide where they want to retire. Clearly, he doesn't want to retire here, but
I think that would have changed if we would have won a campeonato. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I feel like that would have definitely changed. But I mean, only he knows how he feels. But
yeah.
I'm hoping
Mhm.
he's taking it in consideration. We have a couple of comments on the chat. Our good friends, well, my really, really good friends from the Eagle Eye podcast, Christian popping up, as well as Ivan saying Sambuesa to America to come. I hope not.
Well,
We'll trade you for
Tijuana
who do you want?
already shut him down though. Like he already
Yeah,
said no.
yeah, they already shut him down.
So
Beautiful, right?
And then Raul Guerrero said, "What's your starting 11?" Anybody want to take a shot at it?
Me.
Go for it.
I got one too.
I think the only thing that we have our doubts is who's going to start as a striker, right? But I think it's Cota, Navarro, Tecillo, Mosquera.
You think Mosquera's going to return over Barreiro?
Oh, well, the ideal
will.
one, if they're all healthy, are we like fantasizing if they're all healthy, or Jornada Uno?
Just your starting 11. Your starting 11 that, because
All time, right now that we have.
Yes.
Yeah, of course Mosquera over Barreiro. I don't want to know
Okay.
the goalies.
Okay.
And then
Anyway.
I'll put Jairo. And this is interesting, but I like when Jefecito and Aquino and Montes are in the middle, and then you have Mena and Meneses, and then you just have one striker. And I would give it to I'll probably give it to Sosa instead of Ramos. I haven't really seen anything. I'm just curious to see what he could do, Sosa. But if not Sosa, I'll probably put Leon, the youngster. I think Ramos, I don't know, man. I think he's had a lot of opportunities, and I kind of want to see what these other players can do, especially Sosa, who is supposed to be this. I think he was campeón goleador in Uruguay, so I think he can. I think he needs the minutes to show what he could do.
He needs to demonstrate us that he's not just a campeón in the
Yeah.
Liga version. So he still has a lot to his reputation. Okay, good 11. Jose, you said you had an 11?
Yeah. Well, it's pretty much the same thing. It's who were your wingers again?
Mena.
Okay, yeah, it's pretty much the same thing except for the midfield duo. I think I would put Montes and Aquino, and then
Rubens?
behind the striker, Campbell,
Ooh.
and Sosa on top.
Okay,
Yeah.
you're going with Campbell and Sosa. Carlos, do you have any idea of your 11 at this point?
I like Javier's idea of having two contenciones with Aquino and Jefecito. But
I know
would
how much
rather-
you love Aquino, so.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, Carlos is Aquino's number one fan.
That's my man.
You know,
Right
if you're listening, you know, give your boy
no,
a
but I would actually my little surprise in the lineup would be to put Campbell as a striker.
instead of
Because I think I heard you guys mention it earlier that he played striker for La Selección de Costa Rica. So why not just give him a shot? You know, he's experienced, and we paid a lot of money for him, so might as well put him out there. And then so that would be my lineup.
Yeah, the thing about what I think Louis made a point. I think it would just depend on Nacho Ambriz, because I think there's been many opportunities where we, like in that final with versus Tigres. Damn it, I want to remember it, but they rather had a Vinicio Angulo instead of Campbell, and I was kind of like, I remember thinking about it when Macias left. I was like, well, I guess we could start Campbell there, but they opted for Vinicio Angulo, which, yeah, I agree, makes me think that maybe he doesn't have the same confidence, maybe as a striker or something, but. That would be amazing though. To see him as a striker, Campbell is just impressive when he's just one-on-one with the goalkeeper.
Louis, do you have 11 in mind?
First of all, just an aside. I didn't mean to be so hard on Benicio Angulo. He's a good dude. And actually, he did a lot better for us than I ever expected he would. He had a couple of nice goals peppered in there over the course of that season. I mean, he came up from the Ascenso with a certain nivel, and I'd say he exceeded expectations. So I didn't mean to be hard on him, but I still stand by what I said, that when you have Joel Campbell there, even though he's not a true number 9, you shouldn't be starting Benicio Angulo in a final. Now that I have that out of the way,
that's been cleared out instead.
I mean, my 11 is some variation of what the other guy said. I think my back 4 would be the same as Javier's, although they seem enamored with Barreiro, that to the point where I think he might start still on day 1. That might change later on. But I feel like they might still go with him, and I feel like even though I don't want them to, as I mentioned before, they probably will go with Ramos at striker on day 1. I would go with Armando Leon personally. I think Armando Leon, and then give Nico Sosa real minutes off the bench. We are going to have the 5 subs in Liga MX like they're doing in Europe too. No, I believe we are.
That was my question actually.
I believe they are. I think we discussed that a long time ago. But I'm having trouble remembering. But I think it is going to be that way, and that provides a lot of opportunity to try some things out. You know, in real game minutes. You know, you can even sub out a center back. Normally, you don't sub out a center back unless he gets injured. But now you have 2 extra subs, so you could put in Mosquera even as a sub. I don't know if they would do that, but you could theoretically.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see what they decide to do.
Yeah, definitely. Do you have a 11 in mind, or maybe what you would envision would be an ideal 11?
I mean, I'm just reading here. I'm just like, I'm just like Sambuesa, Montes, and 9 more. Who cares, right? Now the problem is they both like to play a little bit more to the left, and they could get you have to do it right. 4-3-3. Those 2 in the midfield with Ivan Rodriguez in behind. It's got to be done. I would like to see Campbell up front. All you need is Mena getting in behind. It's a great shame you lost Sosa, because him on the left making runs in behind would have been absolutely perfect to go in that attack. But maybe Yairo can do that as well. I mean, I love Yairo as a left back, but he's amazing as a winger as well. I think he could score in a more attacking role. Could score a lot of goals. But yeah, mainly just get. If you have like a trident of Montes, Sambuesa, and Campbell, I'm watching.
Definitely. Lots of questions in the air. We still have to see if there is a new transfer and who would that be. And, there's still a lot of kind of rumors around circulating, and like Jose stated, I think the transfer window closes sometime in September, which as we know, Leon leaves it to the last minute. We get like, a new transfer in when we're like in jornada 4 or 5. Like that's just no surprise to the Leon. We have a couple other
Typical Leon, since
typical
since
Leon, right?
they
Like
went to
Yes,
Primera División.
unfortunately.
unfortunately, yeah, exactly. Same thing happened with Nicosa last season, but
And why did the official account have to feel the need to troll us so hard about the?
you know what? We will
about the
talk about
reversal?
that in a couple of minutes because I'm gonna have a go at them because it's not fun. So comment, saludos, my dad. Hi dad, I love you. Thanks for watching. And Raul Guerrero, another comment. I think the game of Leon is too fast for Ramos, and that's why he doesn't really fit in because of the speed of play, which I think we've talked about. And
That's something that I wanted to watch that. So I think, as Tom mentioned it, I think at one time, Leo Ramos is not really fit to a Leon system, and like I was like just kind of like just playing around, and in the last 3 seasons that Embrace has been in Leon, the percentage of successful crosses, Leon's is like it's been either the 17th or 18th, like, or either last or second to last in the whole league. And that for the striker like Ramos, that depends on crosses from other teammates, kind of hampers his performance. So that I think that's why he hasn't been able to flourish under Embrace, because what he has from strikers is something completely different than what he's accustomed to. Which, yeah, I that's what I got to add to that end.
The only thing about
the
that.
wrong player.
Mm-hmm.
He's a good player, but he's the wrong player.
Yeah,
And,
although
this is what too many teams don't think about. They don't think about the type of player. They just see, okay, this guy has a great goal scoring record.
Mm-hmm.
Sure,
Exactly.
He's done great in Liga MX. Sure, but he's done in a team playing a certain type of football. And Leon play a very distinctive football, and it's not right for him.
Yeah, I'd be curious to.
Go ahead.
Sorry, to be curious to think what you think, Tom, because we've been over this a number of times. I think we're pretty much in agreement about how he's the wrong fit. I was talking with someone the other day who was like, you know what? I think he hasn't scored a lot of goals for us. He hasn't hosted a lot of goals. He hasn't gotten on the end of a lot of crosses. But this person I was talking to feels like he does some of the dirty work that doesn't show up in the box score that kind of goes unnoticed. About like he's just a big body and a physical presence, kind of forcing his way into the area and drawing defenders, drawing marks, and creating space as a result. And I think there could be some truth to that. I just think that's not enough. You know, we want more production, like actual real production, out of that position. I don't know if you think there's any truth to that, though.
Yeah, I think there's some truth, but there's other ways to go about moving defenders around that I think Leon do anyway. You know, I don't think you're a team that needs necessarily. I don't disagree that he has done some of that work, but I don't think you're a team that necessarily needs someone who's big to do that work, because you've had smaller players and their movement, like you say, the fluid attack, the interchange of positions, the mix of players running to the ball and players making runs in behind. That's enough to drag defenses around and obviously create lots of great chances, which why Leon have been such a great attack for consistently under Ambriz. So yeah, I agree with what you say. It's not enough.
And I wanted to add about
sides, it's just not the right fit, I think.
I wanted to add, I agree. I think he's a little too slow for how Leon plays, because like even the game against Bravos to me was an eye opener, right? Because before the game, I was one of those people that thought Leon is going to lose, but I was just playing really good, and I felt that they were going to be the dark horse of the tournament, and I think once Armando Leon subbed in, I think it was like it was the right timing for like everything. Just kind of, I felt that he did a far better job in the very few minutes that he got of understanding the timing of his teammates than Ramos in like a whole season. That's why that's the thing about it. I think it is about the chemistry, or because you were saying, Jose, that for like 2 seasons, the accuracy of centers is really like low. Could it be because they kind of stopped doing that? Like because back when Boselli was around, it was Elias to Boselli, right? And I think the
Yeah.
wingers kind of don't center no more. It's like, or Mena makes. That's why Mena has been campeón goleador. You know, I think it's probably because the way they used to play is not the same,
Mhm.
and I think that's why I prefer a faster striker, which is what I saw in Leon, and I haven't seen that much like on Sosa, but he hasn't really gotten any minutes, and I would want to see. I want to see how he would, work with. And also, I agree, Tom. Maybe in a game where, I don't know, against probably Mazatlan, let's put Sambuesa and Montes together. I'm just a little scared to leave one of them by themselves sometimes. That's why I like Aquino and Jefecito. But other than that, you're right, man. I want to see those two play. I want to see Yoga Bonito again. That's something I haven't seen in a while.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that in a while with Leon, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Just
maybe
right.
maybe an answer is to play Sambuesa as like back on the wing, but where he can come inside, and if it's on the left, then you can get Yaido making the overlapping runs. He can hold the width. Sambuesa can come inside, and then that way you can have that more protection. You can have the two contenciones.
And I think I'm excited about this 5 substitutions because it's going to change the game, man. I think it's going to cause coaches to kind of have 2 or 3 strategies. You can afford it. You can be like, I'm gonna start with this, and if it doesn't work, you're like, I can just sub 3 of them, and I think it's going to be very game changing. The fact that you can have 5 substitution, and with those you can change your game plan. It's interesting, really. I wonder how it's going to work out, to be honest. But yeah,
Definitely interesting. Also to mention, we did have another addition to the club of Misael Morales, 19-year-old youngster, which I think was kind of a surprise for us because it's another midfielder. And at this point, is that really what Leon needs? But like you mentioned, with the 5 substitutions, I think it's going to give minutes to the youngsters that Ambris has played before. We've mentioned Armando Leon, now this youngster. What's the other youngster?
Which
Saul
one?
Zamora.
Saul.
Saul
Saul
Zamora.
Zamora. Saul
Zamora.
Zamora.
Yeah. So,
That
I
is
mean, what do you guys
gonna
think
be
about this
a
youngster?
word.
Misael,
Uh,
we don't know nothing about him, but
Yeah,
I
haven't
think
seen much about him,
Well-
but I think he's just going to get minutes in,
I mean-
in the youth academy, in my opinion.
probably.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to play.
only thing I know is what with her, which is like where he plays. He's for his age, he's kind of on the short side. Like, he's 158, 5'2".
He's my size.
He's shorter than me. You're
And-
like 158. I'm like, wait, that's short. That's like Chapo Montes.
yeah,
man.
he's short. He's short.
But
No,
what they
he's
say,
shorter
los
than
chaparritos
Chapo
are más picosos.
Ah,
Navarrito, we have Chapo
Well, le van a
Montes.
saludar a Chaparritos, eh?
True.
Montes.
Right.
Yeah.
So when he started out his career, I guess he started as a right back, and now Mineros, he's played either as a defensive midfielder, central midfielder, and as an attacking midfielder. So that's kind of interesting that he can he's basically like a box to box midfielder. So I thought that was kind of interesting, but I haven't really seen him play at all. But so I'm intrigued. Maybe he's.
Well, then again,
Ambris
it's
brought him
probably
for
Ambris.
like
Yeah, Ambris probably.
he came to them for a reason. So
Yeah. Ambris probably did see something in him. He's like, hey, give me that youngster from Zacatecas. Now that team is being dissolved and everything. I don't know. I hope he has a cool
especially
name.
now.
Reminds me of Misael Espinosa.
Yeah,
That's all I can say.
Misael,
That is
like
all
yeah,
I
he
put in this.
literally.
Yeah, that's all I could say. I don't know.
Dude,
I haven't seen him play,
I
but
think.
hopefully he gets minutes.
Well, in my case, I already know I'm gonna. Oh, maybe it's too big for him, but I'm gonna call him Misa too.
I think so.
Misa?
Yeah, that's pretty much their nicknames. But I guess we'll have to see what this youngster, adds to the team. And now, Louis, let's talk about our kind of, we had a moment of panic attack and what's going on, PR stuff by Club Leon and Juarez. Club Leon announced that, we're requiring Lescano per se and Burrito, which kind of was the throw off, but I was really excited for Lescano. We were talking about it in our chat, like, Ramos and Lescano swap. Like, I was just like, oh, and it all turned out to be just marketing for the Copa TELCEL. I mean,
Yeah.
we were kind of heartbroken, right?
Should've known.
Well,
It worked.
you expect, I don't
It
know.
worked.
I think it was a little, I don't want to say a lack of professionalism, but it was a little strange, a little weird to see from your official social media, your team's official social media, the social media with the little blue check mark next to the name. That's a little
That's mean. It's mean.
It's a little sketchy. I'm not gonna. Okay, if they'd said like Lionel Messi is nuevo refuerzo del Club León, obviously we know that's just a bunch of hot air, just a joke. But when they mention realistic names like Dario Lescano and Burrito, especially Burrito because he's already in the grupo.
Yeah.
Not that I really want him or think that he would help that much compared to Lescano.
You want Shaggy? That's
where did Shaggy end up? Because I don't think he's with Mazatlan. Where did he go? Anyway, that's another topic. But it was a little strange. I'm not gonna lie. I don't want to be too critical, but it was a little strange for them to do that.
They got everybody though. It fooled everyone. I didn't tweet or I was actually kind of busy, but I saw my phone blow up and I was like, oh, what's going on? From you guys in the chat. And then I was on Twitter and I was like, I don't know. But I saw Kari tweet it, so I was like, does she know something?
They fooled me. It's so mean.
I should have known.
But I always check the comments. There's always there's always one or two people on there on Twitter on the comments that kind of know what's going on. And one of them said, "No, it's not true. It's because they're gonna play a pretemporada cup or something." And I was like, before I tweet anything about this, I'm gonna wait. But
that's when I got it. And the second thing was the picture. Like that picture that they show us is not what we're accustomed to. Like he was still.
It wouldn't be a way
first
to
of all,
bring a player like him to the club, knowing what Leon has been doing lately. Yeah.
Yeah.
The only thing I'll say that made it a little more forgivable is that it happened after they announced the signing of Campbell.
All right. Yeah.
Because we're all here on
needles
waiting for some kind of news about any kind of signing, but especially Campbell. If they'd come out with this nonsense before that had happened, but since it was after, we're like,
okay.
Well, no matter what happens, we got Campbell. That's what we're waiting for. We're gonna have a full team.
That was me, man.
So,
that whole day, I was like, I'm not even mad because we got Campbell. So whatever.
Yeah.
In it, but we got Campbell. You're right. It's definitely.
Well, if they would have done that way, I would have been so triggered.
Oh yeah. Right? Yeah.
I would have been
the Campbell
really
thing. I wanted to mention it in the first segment that the Campbell thing. That for me, I think for you guys too. That was a huge weight off of all of our shoulders. So now whatever they do after that, because I'm happy. Yeah, I would love to see more refuerzos of the kind of quality of those kind of players that they mentioned that we're not actually getting. But even if we don't get them, because we have Campbell, I'm pretty happy with the way the roster looks heading into this next regular season.
What about Marco Fabian? What about now playing?
No, we're not getting Marco.
No.
Oh, sorry.
He doesn't have a team though, and he's only. I mean, how does he not have a
No,
team?
where are we gonna put him?
Yeah.
See, this is
No,
like
no. I'm not saying that we could
Okay.
get him.
Hey,
I
hey,
don't want
did
him. I don't want him. But
you guys know that when Marco Fabian was born, his father played in Leon, and the first
We
cancha he stepped was El No Camp. Okay, so
We know.
I wouldn't mind it. Who knows? Who
I
knows?
mean,
Just
where?
the way-
I mean, where are you gonna put him? Like where?
Now, and if you were going to bring someone, honestly, I wouldn't be a midfielder. I think it would be
we
more.
need a defender. We need a defender. An
We need
extra.
defenders.
yeah, what's Carlos Izquierdos or someone like that up to? You know?
What is he up to nowadays?
Yeah, one of your guys,
Junior.
Tom. Yeah.
We have to get rid of an extranjero though if we're going to bring the.
Oh, I
Yeah.
think that can be arranged.
That's why I said Marco.
What were you gonna say, Tom?
You wanna bring? I mean, go ahead.
No, just you could just go around to every club and just be like, we'll do a swap for Ramos for any defender you've got.
Yeah.
Yeah, anyone. And then bring the forward Boselli and
Possibility though. Maybe not. There's not a lot of international moves going on, but actually, it surprised me how many inter-league moves there's been so far. Because I thought with the whole pandemic, it was going to be like almost nothing happening in this window, and there's actually been quite a lot of moves between clubs.
Querétaro went to Tijuana. That's like the biggest one.
Well, that kind of set things off, and then obviously the Ascenso thing, people are sort of picking off players from the Ascenso now.
Yeah.
There has been quite a lot of moves.
Yeah.
But the foreign player thing is a problem, I think, for quite a few teams.
He's not gonna come, but just wanted to throw that at it. Like, so we got Rafael Marquez, which is basically like the best defender in the history of Mexican.
I said.
Say that one more time. The greatest, right? Just come on.
Yeah.
He doesn't get the respect sometimes, I feel.
Yeah.
And well, so we got him. So why don't we get one of the other, in at least in the current era, after him? Who do you think was like recently? Who do you think was the best defender, Mexican defender? It doesn't matter what age they are, as long as they're active right now.
Hector
We
Moreno.
play with Hector Moreno a lot in la selección.
Yeah.
Right? Well, Hector
So why
Moreno.
don't we get him?
Yeah. I've been in FIFA 17. I've been playing doing that. Yeah. I always buy Moreno.
But can we afford him? Like at this point?
That's the question.
The wages would be too high for him.
That's another question.
Yeah.
I mean, we already splurged on Campbell, and we have the whole construction, which of this new stadium, which could probably backtrack. Yeah. Like, what's your budget for a Mexican defender? I feel like that's what we need.
The big problem you've got here with Mexican defenders is the way you play, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like playing high possession football, trying to press fairly high, basically trying to keep the ball in the opposition's half. It's just not really how a lot of Mexican teams play. Like Mexican football, we see this much more end-to-end space in the midfield sort of game. And therefore, defenders are used to staying back. They're not used to having to go to the halfway line and having to do their defending.
Mm-hmm.
So I think this is perhaps why we've seen so many of Leon's defenders recently coming from Colombia, for example, who would tend to be a little bit more physically imposing, powerful, pacey, to be able to defend that space in behind.
I mean, if we can get like a Mexican version of Tecillo or clone Tecillo, like I'd be happy with that.
I mean, I'm wondering what guys.
Is there even anything like that?
What's somebody like? What kind of money is Diego Reyes making, or Nestor Araujo, guys like that? You know?
Too much.
I mean,
I don't want Diego Reyes. I don't want Diego Reyes.
not Diego Reyes, please. No.
I mean, those are the ones I'm thinking of, the ones that come to mind.
Louis like, I wasn't thinking about.
No. I'm not saying I want those guys. They're the ones that come to mind as quality defenders from
Don't shoot
Mexico.
the messenger.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, it's like, but he's right. Who else could there be though as a Mexican defender like
there
Rafa
isn't.
Marquez that could bring? That's why not even Nacho Gonzalez. I always felt that it's always great to have him in the team because he did play alongside with Rafa, and maybe he could kind of, I don't know, like teach other players the experience he got from playing with Rafa Marquez.
I mean, he has the leadership.
He
And we've
does
seen
have
him
the
play,
leadership.
and we were
Yeah.
impressed when he played. Obviously, he was subbed out second half of that game,
Mhm.
but obviously his age is, I'm not saying it's a factor because everybody underestimated Rafa Marquez when he came to León, and
Mhm.
salió campeón, and the rest is history. But I mean, he's definitely
Glorious history. Sorry.
We have a comment on the chat. Give me a second, Jose. I have a comment.
Yeah.
Adai with Johnny said, "Hello, welcome back. Good to see you all are safe. Thank you, and thank you for joining us."
Thank you.
And then my good friend Ivan, best Mexican defender of history is
Oh my
Osmar Pares.
Yeah, no.
I don't know, man. It's a tough sell for me. I'm going to say no, man.
No,
Yeah.
Wiki Dios, no?
No,
Wiki.
that's a
Wiki Dios. Oh, yeah.
Mexico.
No one
Not
can
the
stop
universe.
Wiki Dios. Yeah,
Yeah, Wiki Dios,
no doubt.
La Muertiña, come on. That's like the greatest thing I've ever in the history. That's like top one moment in Liga MX. Top one.
Yeah.
Top two is probably Shaggy Martinez doing something. I don't know, Louis. I know that's your dream top moments in the Liga MX. No, but really, defender, like who would they bring? Because at this point, I don't think they're gonna get rid of. I mean, at least I don't want Sambuesa to leave. And if Ramos does leave, then swap him for another attacker, another forward that's extranjero. But other than that, if they're gonna bring another defender, it's probably gonna be a foreigner.
But doesn't I don't. Yeah, I don't. It doesn't make sense to bring another defender right now because we just let go of
Ramiro.
Like it don't make no sense.
We should have kept him.
Well,
I'm still heartbroken about that. But
Plus, there's the thing that
he'll be back maybe.
yeah.
He's a cool guy.
I don't know about that.
Atlético San Luis quietly put themselves together a team.
Yeah.
That's the dark horse right there. That's my choice. My pick for the dark horse.
Louis. So Copa TELCEL, basically participating is Club León, Pachuca, Juárez, and San Luis. Basically, León facing off Juárez, San Luis against Pachuca. Winner of both is in a final. So that's kind of like their, Copa por México, Copa TELCEL, which is cool because we get to see our team. Then we have pretemporada games that were announced for this week. Well, against Mineros and Necaxa. So that is something to look forward to. Maybe, we're not going to get a generation of what Ambris is thinking because I think there's still, those next games to play. And then the Calendario Liga MX is not ready. Apparently it was supposed to be ready yesterday. But for, there's a lot of disagreements regarding games and stuff like that because obviously, as we know, closed doors this season and next will probably be open. So how does that work out money-wise? I mean, we know how Liga MX is going to Liga MX, and the rumor of Club León changing their game days is there, which is kind of like, I don't know what you guys think about that.
Since I can't be there in person anyway, I really don't care.
Yeah.
Once they get back to normal, if they ever get back to normal, I really do hope that our home games are on Saturday nights like they're supposed to be. But until then, it doesn't really matter. Until then, they may as well spread the games out as much as they possibly can, so we can watch as many of them as possible.
Yeah, I think that's the idea. And there seems this talk of like having games every day between Liga MX and the Liga de Expansión.
Yeah.
So it's a similar thing that this is the same thing they're doing in England. They're doing this every country, basically, just trying to get games on every single day so that as many people as possible watch.
Yeah.
And for now, I am perfectly fine with that plan.
Yeah, you're just
For me, Monday night's great. We can't do our podcast on Monday nights then, but other than that, it's a
do a live
perfectly
react,
nice, it's a
or you're
perfectly
gonna
good day.
Either way, Monday or Friday, I'm good.
Yeah, right now it doesn't really
'Cause-
matter what day they choose, but
I mean, we
hopefully,
don't even know what day it is today. You know what I mean? Like, we just wake up like, well, what
Yeah.
day is it today? But Carlos, what are your thoughts? Do you mind us having to watch a Monday night Leon game?
Absolutely not. I just want football to be back. Liga MX football to be back. I really don't care what day of
Yes.
the week we play.
Okay.
please, as soon as possible.
it could be Thursday at 3 a.m, whatever. I'll watch.
Thursday would be another great night. I love Thursday. That'd be a good day.
Thursday would be a good day.
Anything but Friday.
Yeah.
I guess the only danger of like, if they see how this works out, they're probably gonna. I mean, it's not a bad thing, but I always see when I think of regular season Leon playing, I think Saturday night. Like that's just in my mind. So I'm hoping even if they play Monday, then this temporada, next temporada, they better not be like, oh, you know what? I think Monday night worked out. Like let's just keep it, and then that would be
No,
like,
I
oh my
think,
god, no.
No,
Leon is
no,
not.
no.
We're not a team like when things are normal and people can go to the games and stuff.
Especially the weekend,
I don't
no
want to.
matter
I'm
what.
not gonna throw names of teams out that I feel like I'm disrespecting them. But there are certain teams that can play on Friday nights and others that shouldn't. I really feel like Leon is not a team that should play on Friday nights. Saturday nights is when they should play at home.
And especially because how the city works. That's the best.
Yeah.
The people are working. People are working almost Monday through Saturday. It's Saturday, like around 6, around the time they're kind of just finally free.
Pre-gaming.
Yeah. Back in the day, it used to be Sundays. The games in Leon.
I wouldn't mind Sunday because we played
Sunday's okay.
we played
Sunday's
Sunday
fine
home
with me.
games before.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Sunday would
definitely
be fine with me.
if you don't want your
Like
stadium to be empty, yeah. If you're once it all gets back to normal, if you want your stadium to be filled, Leon, definitely return to Saturdays at night. That's like the best.
And,
The best.
so
Time.
everyone
prime time.
who feels the same, please make your opinion known so that they don't just go making irresponsible decisions al respecto.
Yeah.
After this season, yeah, because I think it's probably gonna stay like this until 2021.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing about
Definitely.
this whole disagreement with the league, right? They're kind of assuming that for the Clausura there's going to be full stadiums again. I think that's
Nope.
wishful thinking.
Praying more like it.
Yeah.
In my head, I'm actually hoping that's gonna happen. I think you.
I am too, man.
You are what
I am
you
too,
do,
but
kind of manifest it. Just kind of just say everything's gonna be okay. I really do hope everything just gets back to normal, but it's getting every time harder, right?
I feel like
Yeah.
Louis gonna have a heart attack if he can't go back to the stadium next season. Like he's gonna be outside, like making his own protest. Like, let me in.
hunger strike might be cause for a hunger strike.
Gandhi style.
Yeah.
Never eat.
It's okay. I'll send you a Rappi food or something to feed you while you're outside protesting for all of us.
No, I might go to
the.
the top floor of the hotel next door and try to peek over and see whatever I can.
You'd be surprised how many people have that idea. A lot of people. They're like, I'm gonna
A
go.
lot of people.
Yeah.
Watch.
Dude, like,
no, I'm gonna go to see how many people actually go to the hotel.
like even when there's like people in the stadium, I seen like live games where you can see someone peeking out
Yes.
from the balcony from
Yeah.
hotel.
Yeah.
So-
It's always one, man. It's always one.
I think that room probably gets like, requested and probably have to up the price on a game day,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then how do you go ask, hey, what's the hotel room that I can see the game from? Like, what if you pick the
No, I
wrong
feel
room?
like there's some
Can
kind
I
of
test my hotel room before I go?
I think there's some kind of conference room up there or something. Because I've seen like people, a relatively sizable number of people, like photos posted of people congregating there.
Yeah.
So I think it's some kind of conference room that overlooks it, but I'm not sure. I've never been in the situation to need to go up there until now.
Yeah, man. I'll be surprised how many people have that idea, and I'm gonna be
Yeah.
there. Jornada uno.
But you're gonna have to like do it once. Like all of us get together and just go and do it. Like if we, can't get tickets for some reason, which I
Yeah.
mean, I don't think it's a idea, but that is all I have. Anything you guys want to say regarding anything that's happening right now with the club before we go?
One thing. I think at least in my part, there's let's see, 4 players that I would watch out how they're doing in preseason. Probably one, Nico Sosa, because he's he's hungry of redemption from last season. He only played like 10 minutes after he got injured. Before he got injured. Mosquera, because he hasn't played for quite a while.
Mhm.
Nacho, I'm curious to see how he's doing because, like, I think I mentioned in the last
Now,
episode.
Nacho Gonzalez, Jose.
So
Did we already say
yeah.
he's gonna retire?
He's gonna push it.
For a whole.
He's gonna see how it goes.
Yeah.
This was gonna be his last season, but
Yeah.
now he's saying maybe he'll play another one after that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
That's where I was kind of confused.
After the pandemic, he kind of feels better. Like he's
Feels like the old Nacho.
He's
I mean,
his injury doesn't hurt, like, because I remember before he would say that he would train, but it was painful for him. Like now he says like there's no pain, so
Yeah.
that's why he pushed the date. So we'll see how that goes.
I feel like
I was
he's taking
kinda
his
like-
conditioning. I feel like he's taking his conditioning really seriously during this layoff, and he's a guy who takes his conditioning seriously anyway.
Yeah.
So I mean,
Yeah.
I think he could potentially play 2 more seasons. I don't know. I'm fine. I'm fine with having him around as long as he wants to be around.
Does anybody know, Jose? I know you have the answers, Jose. Who has the most appearances?
No, I don't.
in Leon? Yeah, you do, bro. Who has the most appearances in Leon? Is it Nacho? Because he's been playing for Leon for almost 11 years, right? He came in 2010, I think, early
Nacho?
2010. Yeah.
Yeah, and Nacho came around 2010. Yeah, he's been here for a long time. So
Yeah.
Most
so
appearances on
mean,
the
at
current
least,
squad. You mean?
Of all time.
Of all time.
Knows because I know the all time scoring
definitely.
table. He has to be, right, unless it's like Antonio Carvajal or something like that.
Yeah.
I'm going to make 1 for appearances. Like right now, I only have like stats for goals that we scored since we got promoted, and he's definitely in there too. So yeah, that Boselli, obviously he's all the way in the top, and then somewhere in the top 5, Montes is there too.
Montes
Elias
and
is somewhere in there too.
And Gullit. I was surprised that Gullit left a long time ago.
Gullit is there.
Yeah, Chapo is like
No one has come.
Yeah.
Yarbrough's got to be up there too, no?
Yeah.
I would say Yarbrough's got to be up there.
In appearances.
Yeah.
And goals? Or
no,
goals?
appearances.
No. Appearances.
Oh, appearances. Yeah, he should be up there too. Because when he, I think he played like a few matches in El Ascenso, and then he made his official debut in the friendly versus the U23 Mexican national team, which
I remember when Mexico played.
I think like 1 or 2 days ago.
Yeah. That was like his debut.
Yeah, that was his first.
Yeah, because obviously it was Meliton who and then before that, I mean, after that, Cristian Martinez came, so that was definitely his debut. And also that was Chapo Montes has to have the most experiences, because I don't think he ever had like a really that injury, but I think it's up there, right? Chapo Montes and Nacho with most appearances.
He definitely does. I'll get back to you to tell you exactly what number.
I can't find it anywhere. I can't find it on Wikipedia. I'm like, dang, I wonder who has this information.
do you want me to count the Censo and the Liga MX
No,
appearances,
I
or
don't
like
think
all everything?
I think well, if you can, the whole history of León in Primera División, who would have the most
I mean,
appearances?
that's
But
Oh, thanks,
I love to
but,
do
gonna
that.
but,
I
but
didn't even
yeah,
realize.
I know. But even then, like just by the fact that I think Nacho wins it because I don't think there's ever been a player that stayed for more than a decade with León, unless it was Carvajal. Carvajal, he came in 1950 and he left like he
Hmm.
retired in 67. Then he became coach in 68 around there.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think Carvajal would probably win. But that being said, in modern times, it's definitely Nacho and Chapo Montes. And I always have this idea because Card mentioned the stadium that will most likely be postponed. Right? They said 2023. Right? I think it's probably going to be finished in 2024. But one of the things they're trying to do
Yeah.
with the completion of the stadium is make a Hall of Fame. And I've always been thinking about like who would
Hmm.
be like the ideal top. I don't know how they're gonna do it, right? But like first ballot Hall of Fame, I think you got to put both Nacho and Chapo Montes. The fact that there would be
See,
campeones and so and in the whole
what
history of Leon.
hmm what I would
You,
like
yeah.
for Leon to do, I don't think they'll do it, but I would like, because I seen it in other times around the world, like to have different statues of players that were that left their mark in Leon. That would be just
that'd be
awesome,
great.
because every time you come to the stadium, you see them,
Yeah,
like, and even the generations that come after you,
yeah.
you'll see them there too. So it's like they get immortalized, like just like the one that's in front of the stadium right now, which some people like it, some people
I do
don't,
not
but
like it. That's supposed
still,
to be like a goalie or kind of. What is that supposed to be, Louis?
yeah.
That goalie? It's a
I
goalie,
think
right?
it's supposed to be a goalkeeper. Yeah, that's where I tell people to meet me. Meet me by the weird goalkeeper
That's what I
statue.
meant.
Yeah,
That's what I
yeah.
They should change that. They should just take that out and just build the Antonio Carvajal statue or a Tita
Just great,
statue
like
or the
like
Feli
like
statue.
like maybe just in holding like a football ball like by his hand or something, but not like that. That's just kind of like a weird pose.
Now, who would be
Yeah.
the best coach that Leo has ever had? Would it be Matosas?
No,
You
Who would,
have to put Matosas regardless,
I would
though, if
put
he's not
Matosas
considered the
anyway.
best. Like
he
that
is
is
there.
that's
He's
my
there,
dude.
but it's not my problem.
Who is
I
it?
I think
Is it Vucetich?
I'll give you the name right now. I actually have it somewhere here, because I've been trying to compile, like, since like we began until now, but
Mhm.
it's kind of hard because there's so much data that's been lost. So
Mm.
I'm having a hard time.
I'm just thinking about what
See,
made
like,
this
so
team go crazy, and it
if
was that Ascenso. That
if
Ascenso
our
was,
club was if our club actually got the appearance, we would be able to see how great, like, what Nacho Gonzalez has done, like, in terms of appearances, is compared to other
hmm
uh people in Leon history, like other very important players.
Mhm.
But since we don't have that, we don't even know. We can just sit here and guess, but we don't even know.
yeah.
But yeah, let me see. So I think I have it here
Was
somewhere.
it El Argentino that won two championships back to back, 47, 48? Casullo?
The one that I'm thinking is
Casullo?
uh here. Let me count it because I have it right here. So yeah, so Kazuyo, he
Yeah.
actually won so two league
Campeonísimo.
titles.
Campeonísimo.
Uh, so one Copa de Mexico,
hmm
one Campeón de Campeones, and I don't count the Campeonísimo because that's basically
That's the
just the league
Campeonísimo.
and the cup.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
So
it's
that's
underground there,
that, and
but he did take Leon to play overseas and got one of the first ever victories in the history of a Mexican club overseas. And he beat El Independiente and River Plate of that era,
mhm.
which were, the base de la selección argentina. So yeah, Casullo, he's
So
out there, but Matosas, 10 years in El Ascenso, and I think that championship, man, I think it was even bigger than the bicampeonato.
Sorry, neither of those guys can compare to Gustavo El Chavo Diaz.
Oh no, dude.
So
I look up to you.
so just to like tell you what the order is, like just from looking at it. So the like number one undisputed top coach in Leon's history is Antonio Lopez Querras, which is
Un
the
español?
Spaniard.
Yeah,
Yeah, and then after that it's
Casullo.
Jose Maria Casullo,
Casullo.
which is yeah, yeah, and
Matosas?
after that it should be
Now, popular wise, how many people
no,
know Casullo?
it's not Matosas. It's actually, well, if we only count the titles, like it will be
What's
Tota
it?
Carvajal, I believe, because
But Tota
because he has
Carvajal
two
he won a Copa MX and a Campeón de Campeones, right? The 70
dos
71.
dos
Yeah.
dos
Two Copas and a Campeón de
dos copas,
Campeones. And he
and
did beat América en la final de Campeón de
actually
Campeones en el Azteca.
actually he won two of
Where's
each.
daddy, América?
He actually won two of each.
Look, León always beats América in el Azteca. I remember when they beat Cruz Azul.
I mean, it's facts, and it
Yeah.
will continue to be facts, especially Jose
And I
being
believe that.
the striker that always loved scoring against America. So, but that's just that's just another whole different conversation. But we'll definitely have more stuff coming up in the next couple of podcasts. We'll have obviously Jose is really good with stats and stuff, and history wise, as Javier's will probably have a segment regarding that every podcast. So we'll have just an every all Club Leon English talk as promised. New stuff coming up this season, as you see on the screen. We have upgraded and we're totally a different mode, ready for the season. So we're gonna wrap up tonight. For those who joined us on Periscope and on YouTube, thank you so much. Thank you for the comments. Shout out to Raul Guerrero, Christian, Rosendo, Ivan Pineda. Shout out to my dad. And shout out to Adai with Johnny for joining the conversation, and for everybody tuning in on Periscope and YouTube. Thank you so much, and I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. As you can see on your screen, you can follow all of us at our Twitter handles. I missed mine and I was not there, but you can follow the rest of the gang on Twitter. You guys can definitely follow the Lions Den on Twitter, which is easy. Just take out your phone, open your camera, QR code on the screen, and on the other side, you have the other QR code from our super special people from Los de Arriba Official for letting us use their audio. You can definitely QR code that and open up their Twitter and follow them on there. So I want to thank you guys one more time for joining us, and we will be back next week on another episode of the Lions Den Podcast. So we're taking off.